show. But I just want to say that I'm not going to go for too long tonight. I'm going to keep it maybe we'll go for 20 minutes or so. I'm not going to go too long, but I'll bring you on. Let me see. Hey, Monica, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, man? How's it going?
I'm surviving. I'm surviving. How about you?
Good, good, man. That's a good verse that I just posted. So that's incredible. That supports what you're saying without a doubt. They're independent entities from the Most High. I agree.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see. I'm not sure if it's LOP because I was talking with somebody else on there who's gonna come on my channel tomorrow um evening. They're gonna come on and we're gonna have a debate about the let's see, he wanted to discuss the Trinity, he wanted to discuss salvation being for all nations, and he also wanted to discuss who the real Jews are today. So yeah, man, if you're around, definitely hop onto that, man, because that brother, he's very sincere. But we're gonna have to challenge him, on those standpoints.
Who's that? Sorry, who's the debate? It's going to be LOP or somebody else.
No, no, not tomorrow. It's not LOP. I believe his is the next day after that. We want to bring him on, but tomorrow I'll have to look in my Gmail. But there's a brother on there. He has something along the lines of Trinitarian in his name. I'll have to look,
Got
but
it.
it's like
Got it.
yeah, I'll have
Dude,
to
you're
look
booked
later
up,
at.
man. You're booked up with all these debates, dude. It's a lot. Yeah, that's
Well,
cool.
hey man, I wanted to tell you. I don't know if you looked on your on Gmail or not Gmail, the Google Hangouts. A I sent you a photo the other day that I took because I messaged our friend Nephilim Free. I
Yeah.
messaged him and asked if he would like to join us because, as I said, he's a very intelligent man. He knows a lot. From what I was watching, he does a lot of debates about coming against atheists and debunking evolution and proving that dinosaurs live with man. He does a lot of good stuff. However, I asked him a question. I asked him about flat Earth, Babylon, who the real Jews are today, and I was astonished at how ignorant, may I say, his stance was. If you get a chance, go ahead and pull that up and look at that picture. But basically, what it happened was he said that flat Earth is basically totally against the scriptures and totally against science. Then when I asked him about, and we can address all these, but then I asked him about the Babylon, and he said that I don't really know what it is. I'm not really interested in end times because we're not really in those times as of now. Then I asked him the
Hmm. I'm
about
reading it
hell.
now.
Then
I'm
I
reading
asked
it
him,
now. Yeah,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, go ahead and read that while you can. But then I asked him, and I'll say for the viewers, I
Hmm.
asked him about hell, which he somewhat got right because he said that it was the grave when where you dying and go and rest. So he was somewhat right, but however he was also wrong because hell also means the earth, right? So yeah, when you die you go to Sheol, which is where you rest.
Hmm.
So he was kind of right 50-50. But then the last one, which was a shocker, I asked him about the who the real Jews are today, and he said that they are the people who live over in Israel and they never left since Moses brought them there. Man, what do you think about that? Which, again, this guy, I really think he's smart, but he's clearly wrong on these ones.
The Jews in Israel are probably the last candidate, on earth. I would look everywhere else. You know what I mean? Like literally everywhere. Like I'll look in the Middle East, I'll look in Africa, I'll look in Australia. I don't understand how a person can take that view with what we know now. It's
Do
incredible.
you see what he said? You see what he said about Satan on there?
So I see flat Earth, Babylon, biblical hell, and Israel, or the Jews today. However, I do believe Satan is the ruler of this world as Christ stated, and strives to destroy all that is good. Yeah, I mean I know where you and I will take issue with that Satan reports to God, and I don't think he'll say that. I'm assuming, which
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
a
Which, as I
problem.
said, man, I wanna bring him on the show, so I'm gonna try to work out with him, to see if he will come on with us to have a discussion because I think that would be a pretty good one because as I said, he definitely knows a lot of stuff, but he goes off on other things. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, how does he
Off of
not
that.
know what you mean by mystery Babylon at this point? You know what I mean? Like, dude, come on, man. It's almost September 2021, and you don't know what Mystery Babylon the Great is? Come on, man. What I want to know is the initial of his last name, because if he's EE, that's 33, man. Then I want to be there. I want to call that out, the numerology. But I'd be curious to know what his last name is. The
Yeah,
first
yeah,
initial.
man. I mean, definitely, definitely. I told him that if he comes on, he'll likely be joined by you as well. All right, let me just see real quick. Okay. But yeah, I told him I wanted to, reach out to him to see if he'll, come on and, talk with us. Because I think that would be a very good discussion. Because again, don't get me wrong, he's clearly wrong on those. But as I said, dealing with evolution and, other stuff like that, he clearly knows a lot of stuff. But I mean, I was shocked when they asked him that because I would have thought he would have put up a more logical
Yeah.
argument for each of those. You know what I'm saying? Like the
Flat
whole
Earth,
flat Earth.
he's like absurdity, which denies scripture and modern science. Whoa, dude, that might be the whole hangout. Just camping on that, right of that alone. That's amazing that he would say that.
Right, right. And you know what? Matter of fact, man, if you are able to, send him a message on Gmail and ask him like why does he say that? And he'll probably respond to you and have a discussion with you on there. I don't know if you can see his Gmail name, but basically what it is it's
International
I
hero. I
am
see it. Yeah, I see it. International
it's
hero.
yeah, and look this up. This might be also how you can find it. The way I found him is I looked up this. I looked up I am Nephilim free at gmail.com and then his came up. So you might want to look that up and just shoot him a message, and ask him about that because he'll probably respond. And yeah, I think we should bring that guy on the show, man,
Mm,
because that, as I said, that'll be a very fun discussion dealing with the whole flat Earth. Because I'm very interested because what part of the scriptures says that the earth is a ball that turns and spins. And
right.
I already know he's going to pull up, what is that? Isaiah 40 and 22. I can already see that from a mile away. And
Yeah.
that's what he's going to pull up.
I mean that's a strong statement. Absurdity. So yeah, he must have strong views on that. I just don't know in the times that we live in now with all the tests that have been done and experiments and debunking and all that. And then obviously the Bible, hundreds of verses, all support a flat stationary Earth. So I'm curious to see what he's coming into the lion's den. Let me just say that, I don't know if he's ready, but I'm more than willing to talk as long as it's diplomatic.
Yeah, yeah. As I said, man. Hey, look. Nephilim Free sounds like a very cool guy. But hey, look. I mean, how the hell could he not even know what the term Mystery Babylon is? I mean, you don't know what that term is actually used in the scriptures?
Yeah. He's got to maybe sub to Tried and Refined and Beloved. They'll teach you all about that, so maybe he needs to go to them first before he comes here. But yeah, I mean, how somebody doesn't know that now, it's horrifying. I mean, that's the
Yeah,
central
yeah. He
theme
said,
of the book of Revelation.
yeah, he said that he doesn't really focus much of his time on those topics. It's like, well, wait a second. So I asked him a question, which, if I'm not mistaken, he did not get back to me yet. Maybe he didn't see I sent it, but then I asked him, well, do you believe that we are living in the last days? And if he says no, I mean, it just shows you, man, that these guys,
Ooh.
these guys don't know what the hell they're doing.
It's probably Concave Earth Christian stock account. I'm just kidding. Shout out Samuel, man. I don't want a hate video for 24 hours tomorrow, so I'm just kidding, man. Just a
Well,
joke.
yeah, we got to make that disclaimer because you know how he is, man. He'll do a damn 20-hour live stream about both of us. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly. We could be talking about another Samuel, and we'll be quoting First Samuel, and he'll get mad. You know what I mean? Like, we got to be careful.
Right.
It's crazy. But what was the topic, man, that you went on today, or just to talk about whatever?
I was gonna do the show about bringing Christianity, basically cutting them 6 ways to Sunday. I pushed that back a little while. Just tonight, I just wanted to do a little open mic, just
Yeah.
to chat. I always like to do those. I find those the most fascinating because hell, when you go live, you never know what you're gonna talk about sometimes. So you have to go back and rename the video when it's done, streaming and whatnot. Which is
Hmm.
all cool, of course, but yeah, as I said, man, that one email, I had to send you the picture of that. It's
Yeah, I
just
saw it. I
I
saw
can't
it.
even believe it. I can't even believe such stupidity.
By the way, dude, you have like spiritual bodyguards in the on the entire earth for you, because I went at you on the comment board about the virgin birth, and then LOP's defending you. So like, man, how many bodyguards do you have defending you? It's amazing, dude. You have an army online, man. Damn, dude. But shout out LOP, man. But you know, it's just we're trying to get to the truth.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, LOP, we're gonna bring him on. Let me read his comment real quick. He said, "Hey man, I got back to your email. 27 flash stream sounds good for me." Yeah, yeah, man. I see your message up at the top of my screen. I'll respond to it when I'm done with the show here. But yeah, man, that sounds cool, right? I'll see you on the 27th. You know, Mind of God might join us as well. You know, to have a discussion. I don't remember what he wanted to talk about. I know he mentioned a couple topics, so I'm gonna look back at that just so I can refresh my memory on them before we talk. But yeah, yeah, you know, we got a lot of guys, you know, that want to come on to the show. We have the one preterist guy. Um, and also there was another person I reached out to, which subscribes to preterism, and we're gonna try to bring him on to the show. So we got a
Hmm.
lot of guys, I want to say a good 4 or 5 guys that want to come on to the show. So we'll try to work everything out, you
Ooh.
know. So I definitely want to get Nephilim free on. So if he responds to me, I'm going to put him at near the top of the list after LOP and the other brother. So Nephilim
Yeah.
free, that'll be a good show. I believe he has about 10,000 subscribers. So you know he does it live on his page too usually. So you know that's always a plus.
Hmm. Dude, you a person better be getting a lot of shill money to be pushing preterism in 2021, man. That you better be getting somebody out there. You better be getting paid, man, because that's terrible to push that. Like, that's crazy. That's like Nas pushing Vatican cities to Babylon. Somebody better be paying him, because that's stupid, dude. That's crazy. But I mean, to pass time, maybe they'll bring up some scriptures that we haven't read in a while. You know, that's fine.
Here's a little interesting thought for you. I put up a video the other day. Actually, I put it up yesterday after I did the live show with you. It was about the reincarnation. I don't know if you saw that yet, but
Yeah,
what
I watched
happened
it.
was,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, underneath a comment, more than a flame left a comment and said, you know, that he looks forward to having the discussion with us, but that reincarnation is false.
Dude, I get a lot of angry responses to when I do that on reincarnation too. Like, oh, you're doesn't say that, and you know, under my live stream, I delete them. But yeah, people get triggered.
Yeah, yeah. So you know, it's funny because as I said, I told the brother, hey, look, I'll have a civil, you know, disagreement with you. That's cool. But my question is this, and my challenge would be this: if you disagree, which that's fair, but how about you address you know, the verses which are presented, and why don't we talk about them so we can, you know, come to a conclusion on them? Like, what about the verse we read about? What was that? That was um Job, the 19th chapter, the 25th verse on down, speaking about what? That he's going to physically die in his body, but yet in his body, he's going to see the Lord return. How the hell is that going to happen? And they don't know. You know,
Exactly.
that nobody knows. They'll just tell you, well, you're wrong. It's like, okay, well, how am I wrong? Well, we don't ask questions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All eyes will see him, even those who pierced him. You brought that out in your lesson, and that, I mean, how else can you understand that except with reincarnation being the bridge? It's amazing.
Right, right. And as I said, man, a lot of these guys out there, man, you know, it just shows you, like, even dealing with Nephilim 3, you know, you can see he's very smart on some topics. But then you
Yeah.
ask him about the flat earth, it's like, well, it's a scientific fact that the earth is a globe. So you ask him, okay, well, how could you, without using CGI photographs or what you see on TV, how could you prove that the earth is a globe? And I'd be
Mhm.
very intrigued in seeing such a response.
That's gonna be hard, man. I believe freaking Mystery Babylon is something else but America at this point than somebody trying to use the Bible to support the globe. Like, there's no wiggle room with the Bible on that topic
Right.
at
Now,
all.
one strong argument other than America as far as Babylon goes would be you know, guys would say it's Jerusalem and they'll pick certain verses that speak about, say for an example, how Jerusalem killed the prophets and you know use that to hang it upon. They
Right.
don't also bring up the verses that speak about Jerusalem being compared to as a harlot, right, as a whore, and they'll say, well, see, well, all this proves that is talking about Jerusalem. My God, what would your response be to those guys? Oh, and also, by the way, don't forget this. Our friend William Bell said that it was Jerusalem, but it happened in 70 AD, and Jerusalem is still on fire today. It's just spiritual.
I'll say this: if Mystery Babylon is anything but America, I will deeply regret reading the Bible, because I could have been golfing, I could have been getting my moon pie business going, I could have been doing any other thing, dude. Because it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time because the Bible does not make sense. Then, who the Jews are becomes very, very ambiguous, and it's certainly not the Jews in Israel. So everything falls apart for me personally. So I would have regretted teaching it. So I don't know. There's no other option at this point. The commerce is probably the main thing that you brought out with ITR, and that's the most compelling. And then those guys that you talked to, the Watchmen or whatever, they tried to play the flip role with China, which is fair. They're like, okay, if you use your argument, it's okay. I'm like, well, that's good. Okay, so it's between China and America then. That's the way you should have played them. A little bit more, prodded
Right,
them,
but
but
here's the problem though with that, because if you read it, it says what? That these nations were made rich off of selling their merchandise. Now, what China does is the merchandise is manufactured over there, but it's brought over here and is sold to the people living here. So China is being made rich off of the merchandise being sold here, right? So it's imported into Babylon from China and it's sold here, making them rich, right? It
Mhm.
doesn't go the other way around, because he tried to say, well, wouldn't it be the other way around? Well, no, because if you do the research on how it works, these countries manufacture the goods, and in order to make money, they have to ship them over here, and it sells over here, and then they get the money from the product being sold, right? So as I said, those guys clearly don't know what's going on. They might be right on a couple topics, but yeah, they definitely don't know what they're talking about, because the one guy said that Babylon is the entire world system, is what he was
Mhm.
saying.
Yeah, I mean, the argument was poor that they were saying like, oh, well, then it's China's getting rich and all that kind of stuff. Like, and so, but that's true. China is getting rich. That's what it's prophesying, is that all the kings got rich because of America's consumption. America's not getting rich. We're in debt. So, that argument doesn't hold. So it has to be America that's causing creating all the wealth. And then the only way that's possible is if we buy a lot of things. And so that's also only possible with a consumer or a customer like America, who buys like a disproportionate amount of things. So it pretty much has to be us. So
I mean, hell, man. Last time I was at the store, I was looking on the back of the American flags, and it says that they're made in China. And I told Dahar about that, and he was like, "Oh, I mean, well, damn. Well, yeah,
yeah,
ETT is right. It's like," and they laughed at it because it was like, "Yeah, well, that's funny. It proves our point even more, right? It just shows you, think of how ironic that is. Another country is making your country's flag. Isn't that just?"
yeah, exactly. I mean, again, that's the cool thing about the Bible. You can go in any store and prove it, because we're going to see all those other nations that are getting rich from our consumption, and then you just look at the tag. So it could not be more obvious. Their argument was poor. Basically, they didn't know, is essentially what they should say. Like those guys that you jumped on their hangout with, it's like, just say you don't know, because they don't. Clearly, they don't know. So
Yeah, yeah. As I said, man, a lot of these guys out here, we gotta go easy on them, because a lot of guys are not, may I say, intelligent. A lot of them are very smart, but a lot of
mhm.
them are not very intelligent, because as Brother Polite says, there is a difference between being smart and being intelligent. Being smart is being able to repeat what you're told, but being intelligent is being able to, on your own, prove your beliefs, right? That's what we're able to do. But those guys are just repeating something they saw on the internet somewhere. That's what those guys are doing. Like
Yeah, they're just
well,
regurgitating
go
stuff.
ahead.
I agree. Yeah, they're just regurgitating. They're essentially not looking for an answer that fits in with those verses in 17 and 18, Revelation 17, 18, or the whole Bible, because you have to understand that in the context of the whole narrative too. Deuteronomy 28:68, that links with that as well. It starts right from the beginning. America being prophesied.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now, one guy I really want to get on the show, which I mentioned this guy to you, so you might know who he is now. But this
Mhm.
guy, this coon that calls himself the let's see, faithful servants of Christ. You know who that is?
No, I know you mentioned him though, but what's his story
Yeah,
like?
yeah.
What
We
angle does
want
he
to
come from?
Oh, I'll tell you, man, you won't believe this nonsense. This guy, listen here. Hey, look, we're gonna turn this guy into a spiritual punching bag. He's on there saying that Jesus is white, that everybody can be saved, that that the locust and revelation are demons that are coming out of hell to attack
Wow.
people. That Vatican City is mystery Babylon. That the Trinity. Oh, which actually no, he doesn't teach a Trinity. Um, let's see. I know he teaches a lot of other, but he teaches that you cannot marry people who are other skin colors than you. That's a terrible sin. To do that is what he said. As he said, man, the list goes on and on. That coon, I want to bring
Hmm.
that guy on the show. So I reached out to him, and he actually agreed to come on. He said I'm gonna have to wait a while because his schedule is pretty behind. He has to work most of the time. But yeah, we're gonna one day bring him on to the show. We're gonna turn that guy into a spiritual punching bag, man.
Hmm. It's almost too easy now, man, because it's just everything's just laid out. It's just for us, like we've done our due diligence. On our whatever we agree on. You know, a lot, and then whatever. So like the things that we know, like yeah, I mean, I don't think people would even want to debate us, but if they're willing, man, as long as they're serious, like concave Earth Christian. I mean, that's not even in the realm of comedy to me. That guy literally scares me. Like he literally like he frightens me, kind of thing. Like not that I'm worried about anything like that, but like just that somebody like that can exist. So that's a little extreme, but yeah, I mean, if people want to
Yeah,
debate
yeah.
these things, it's kind of obvious.
Which
One thing I
which
want to
really,
mention, dude.
man. Go ahead.
One thing I want to mention really quick for those people who think that the Bible supports a ball Earth, just so people know, Matthew's 15:37 Bible actually says upon the flat Earth. So you have to go into another translation version, but explicitly in that Bible, Matthew's 15:37 Bible, look that up. 2 Samuel 11:11 actually says upon the flat Earth. So good luck for those people who are trying to use the Bible to support the ball Earth. We wish you luck. We welcome you, but good luck. So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. Just like certain guys, I got to go easy on. Just like our friend, good servant. Hey, look, man.
Oh yeah,
We'll go
for
easy
sure.
on that guy.
Yeah,
We'll be nice and peaceful with him because you already know. Hey, look, man. Before you bring him on, you already know these guys don't know what the hell they're talking about. But still, we'll be peaceful with them and let them talk. Like our brother
100%.
that's going to be joining us tomorrow. I already know that his position is going to be off because we know the scriptures. But
Yeah,
you know what? Hey, we'll be peaceful with them and we'll let them dialogue with us.
big time.
And make a good discussion. Because dealing with the Trinity. So my real question, I would have to ask them. And I said this before you came on, so you might not have heard me, but
Yeah,
I said, okay, well, who is the God of God then? And they don't know.
yeah. That's why John 4:22, for people to understand numerology, that's 4:4. Okay, God's elect. Ye worship, ye know not what. We know what we worship. This is Christ talking, so he's worshiping the Father. We know what we worship for salvation of the Jews. So that word we means that Christ is also worshiping the Father. So Christ has a God. It's amazing.
Right, right. And as I said, just hey, look, these guys don't know what they're talking about. What they're doing is they're just taking what they've been taught in the Christian church
Right.
and trying to incorporate it into the text. But hey, look, we have to put off what we thought we knew, right? In order to, and this Christ even spoke about this, right? If a man wants to enter into the kingdom, he has to first become as a little child. Now, was he actually talking about becoming a little child again? No, he was talking about mentally. You have to unlearn what you were told, and you have to relearn it, right? Because guys
Yes.
will take certain things in the Bible as literal, right? But it's clearly symbolic. And I'll give an example. When
But
they had
ETT,
the Passover,
just so you know, that verse is literal too about reincarnation. It's subtle, but that actually supports reincarnation. I don't want to interrupt, but go ahead. Keep going.
right, right. I was just
Yeah.
going to give an example when you read about the Passover. Say for an example, what is that? Matthew, I want to say Matthew, the 26th chapter. When they had the Passover, Christ said, what? Eat this bread, for it is my flesh, and drink this wine, for it is my blood. Now, somebody will read that and say, well, wait, is he talking about cannibalism? So it would
Right.
seem like that. But when we get the understanding of it, it's just symbolic. Right. So we can see when he says to eat my flesh and drink my blood, that's not literal, right? That's not literal, but they'll
Mhm.
use that. Certain guys will use that to say, "Oh, well, we'll see. Well, Christ got to be promoting cannibalism, or as ITR said, right? Oh, there is a woman that's sitting upon a literal sea monster somewhere, right? That's literal. You know what I'm
That was
saying?
funny. That was funny as hell, dude. Oh my god. Clown show. What the hell, dude? Those guys are
Yeah,
not
yeah.
lost in the sauce. They're drowning in the sauce. You know, like they're way into the sauce, dude. They're covered in it. It's horrible, man. Damn, dude.
They have one of their members I'm subscribed to on YouTube, which I actually know this guy. We go back a couple years. Um, I went on a show maybe 10 months ago and had maybe an hour talk with him or so. He's a pretty cool guy, but he's going along with that doctrine, man. So I might have to send you a link to his page, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe next time he goes live, because he goes live for like 4 hours at a time. So you should jump on there, man, and try to challenge him on that, because he's teaching that we're in the new covenant today, and that Babylon's Vatican, and that
Yeah.
I'm not even sure what the hell the guy teaches, but he's clearly he don't know what he's talking about.
So
That's what I'll
here's
say. So I'll send you a link.
But you know how we
Go
talk,
ahead.
like, we know, I've watched all your videos. You've probably seen mine. Like, we know what we each other know. So we don't argue because, like, we already know. But, like, when you go on those platforms and people are threatened and it gets, like, that's why your dialogue with those guys when you joined, it was, like, civil, like, they're like, hey, all that's good. But, like, sometimes, like, ITR and these other groups, like, they'll get nasty. And so, like, I'm not trying to be arrogant, but at this point, I'm probably not going to change my views at all. So, unless I'm literally just trying to kill time, and all that. But just that's why I prefer sort of talking to people I know, I guess, because like even with Deacon, like he'll kick us with the quickness, as a Ramlab would say. So like if he doesn't like if he doesn't like where you're going, he'll boot you, and then block you, and then it's over, kind of thing. So there's a lot of that theater
Yeah,
out there. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that.
Which I like to keep my sorry, for an example, on my page, I keep everything open, right? Anybody's welcome to comment on the comment board, no matter how ridiculous a comment is. I'll let it stay. The only time I take a statement down, the only time I will ever delete a comment would be if somebody's giving a death threat to either me or to another user that's
Yeah, of
commenting on
course.
the page.
Yeah,
Then we got to be taken down. But other than that, somebody wants to come on and say Babylon's Vatican, hey, I'll let you do that, and I'll try to interact with them, and I'll let them come back, right? They're welcome to come back, and I mean, hell, I told one guy that disagreed with us, I told him, hey, look, if you want to talk about it, come on either my channel or mine of God's channel, and we can
mhm.
discuss it. And that was one of the ITR guys. He was on there, calling us, well, you
Yeah,
guys don't know what you're talking about. So I asked him, okay, man. And I said it 7 times to him. If you don't agree, we'll come on our page, join
yeah.
the show, right? Click that link and let's discuss it. And you see, they never show up to do it. So the
Yeah,
on
but
there
but
talking a lot
ETT,
of
that's
smack.
ETT. Check this out. When you have control of the mute and all that, they won't come here. Only when we're on their platform and they can mute us and kick us. That's the way it is. When you run it, when we run it, then they're not going to show up. So
Right. And you see
yeah,
how the Sicaria was, right? Where when, me and you went on there, you saw how they were, you try to make a statement, then what they did was worse for me, right? They put you on mute and they don't let you talk. Then when you do talk, they'll talk over you and ask you 5 questions at a time and expect you to
yeah,
answer every one of them at a time. It's completely unfair to do that. Matter of fact, the scriptures say to not cut off a man in the midst of his talk,
right.
right? So, those guys are clearly, going off. And it shows you, why? Because the
Mhm.
fact that they have on one page, I believe they have what, 30 or 40,000 followers on one of their pages. That
Right.
just shows you, man, that they're saying what the people want to hear, right? They're the popular ones because
Right.
they're taking out the bitterness from the scriptures. But guys like us that might have 1,000 subscribers, 500, or, some others that might only even have 50,
Yeah.
we're the ones who are given the real understanding of the scriptures, because we're just giving it raw, as Tahar says, right? We're just giving it raw,
Yeah.
so we're not, taking anything out of the text. No, we're going to say it plain and simple. And if anyone don't like that, it's like, okay, well then have a good night. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's like their business, and it's like, I mean, I made a judgment on whether it's righteous or not, but that's their quote unquote job, the merchandise and all that. So yeah, I mean, I really only like interacting with people who have sort of, channels that are very small and obscure. May not be the right term, but yeah, I mean, because you're not going to get a fair dialogue. ETT, am I a Levitical priest? Yes or no? It's like, dude, relax, man. Oh my god, bro, chill. So like, what is that's all theater? What the hell does that have to do with the argument that he was making at that time? Like, what does that have to do with anything, kind of thing? It's stupid. So
Right, right. And it just shows you, man, that those guys, those guys are clearly off, right? Those guys are clearly, just doing this, to win the people, right? Just to win the audience over. That's why they have their HQ, right? Where you can go down there and watch. And why are they doing all this? Because they're the ones who the people want to follow, because they're coming with that sweet doctrine, right? They're
yeah,
teaching what people want to hear,
yeah,
especially with the women in their congregation. They're not going to say at the Bible, says, well, I won't bring it up on here, but it says what it says, right? Nobody's teaching to do that, but it says that. So, they won't even acknowledge that. They'll just say, well, if you even say that, you're some type of like Satanist to say something like that. It's like, well, why don't we look at the history? And they don't want to do that, right? They don't want to look at the history that proves the points that Great Millstone is trying to bring on that subject. They don't want to look at that because that discredits them. I'll throw back.
yeah. It's like woman worship, and like and honestly, this is not to be rude to young kids and all that, but we're not supposed to like listen to the kids' opinions and like take kids seriously. Like in the ancient times, the kids were like in order. You do what you do what you're told, kind of thing. So a lot of parents, if you go down that way, the kids start running the family, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. Not even just with Israelites. I mean, just in any functioning society. So yeah, we have a lot of sort of kid worship and woman worship, and that's not the way it is. That's not the way it's supposed to be according to the Bible. And yeah, I mean, all those groups are pandering to that because it's like essentially like a corporate ministry, basically. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure Deacon knows. Shout out Deacon. We always got to shout out Deacon and Facade because it's just what it is. It's just the right thing to do. But I think he knows what's going on, But again, he's handcuffed to say that because once you do make firm statements, we know what happens to your viewer count. It goes to zero almost. So, but I
Right.
don't care. You don't care because like we don't attract that big numbers anyway. So it's great, like it's beautiful. It's like if we get 10 people, I'm like, whoa, a lot of people are here, 10, 15. Wow. Like that's a big number. And I'm like, that's fine. That's perfect.
Yeah, yeah. And you also got to keep in mind, the Lord didn't call all of these people, right? The scriptures say what? That there could be one righteous man and a entire city. Right. So,
Right.
we're one here and far in between, that we've been scattered throughout the entire world, right? So, these churches out here, these guys are out there, oh, look at us. We have a congregation around the world that has 1 million people in our congregation.
Right.
Oh, just like that one guy, what's that guy? My friend on Google Hangouts, he calls himself Royals S. He said that the masses of people will always have the truth, right? Whatever the masses of people believe in, that is what is true according to the Bible. What would your
Yeah.
response be to that?
Uh, I got a verse actually, ETT, that I'll bring relevant to this. Deuteronomy 7:7. The Lord did not set his love upon you nor choose you because you were more in number than any people, but you were the fewest of all people. So that's in line with the whole narrative of the Bible that God's sifting a small group. It's amazing. So, but sorry, what was your question about that specific thing you were asking?
I said that the guy on there, he calls himself Royals S.
Mm-hmm.
He said that whatever the masses of people believe, that is true, right? The Lord is dealing with the
Cool.
masses of people. Whatever the masses of people subscribe to as far as doctrine wise,
Yeah.
then that has to be true. That's what he said.
Dude, there's a great inversion coming, and that's why I was encouraged last time we talked yesterday. You said Christ could return. Could be a week, could be a month, could be 3 months, 6 months. And so the whole world's asleep. Christian church is asleep. Deacon's up in the club, having Passover. Or he's doing his thing, he's shucking and jiving. And the world's asleep, but little channels like ours, and I follow this guy Mike 444. Good channel, to follow. He has some, strange views, but he's warning the people, you know. So it's only the individuals, the little channels kind of thing. We know that what could happen any day now. It's amazing.
Right, right. And that's just the way it is, and we'll go for another 10 minutes here. I'm going to keep it at an hour for tonight. So we'll go for another couple minutes. But yeah, man, going back to what we're talking about dealing with Nephilim free. I mean, it's like I was shocked when I heard that, man. I was like, wow, what do you mean that it's a scientific fact and anti-science to say that the Earth is flat? I mean, well, what science would you use to show us
Yeah,
that
exactly.
water curves? At what point? At what point can you see the curvature of the Earth? And I'll give an example, right? An airplane, there's been experiments done where they took a level, right? A level which is used for construction. They took
Yeah.
it on the airplane and set it on the table that's behind the seat. You can pull it down and put stuff on it. So they put it on there, and it was completely level for 200 miles, right? And then they ended the recording, but for 200 miles, it was completely straight. And even after that, it did not even turn, right?
I've seen
It
that.
was
Yeah.
completely straight. Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, how the hell does that happen if the Earth is a globe? And you ask them this, and it's like, well, what? But the TV says it's a globe.
They don't understand the skip G's, as you would say. It's Job 12:16. The deceived and the deceiver are his. So if the Most High is going to do a deception, he's going to do it big, so to speak. What's God going to do?
Right. As I
Deceive
like to
10
say,
people?
you don't know the scriptures.
Yeah.
You don't know the scriptures, right? And that's what it is. Hey, the guy, he don't know the scriptures. He don't know the scriptures. That's just the way, that it is. And then you got this other coon on there. He calls himself Andrew Ashby. He literally does 1,000 videos a year about this guy named Vigilant Christian Mario. I
Yeah.
can't even believe that somebody could, for one person, make 1,000 videos a year.
Jeez.
I mean, that's insane. And
That's
I'm talking
intense.
about videos that are 5 hours long, 8 hours long. Insane.
That's like our boy that doesn't want us to mention his name. They go hard, man. They're serious about this stuff, man. YouTube's loaded with people who are like dedicated. They're crazy, a lot of them, but they're dedicated. You got to give them that, right? It's insane, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Just like our friend Samuel. Hey, we got to give him credit. I mean, he's on there talking for 8 hours at a time about how he is the savior, and he'll talk about a million different subjects. Every time someone
Yeah,
asks him a question, right? You can ask him a question about what shoe is he wearing, and by the end
yeah.
of the conversation, he'll already have addressed everything else except for the question you asked him.
And then at the end, he'll be like, "I've told you everything. Why don't you worship me?" He'll get angry, dude.
Right.
That was scary, dude. But I got to address something LOP said. I want people to understand ETT and I are what is known as frenemies. Okay. If the Bible's not true, if it is not the word of God, I would consider ETT a virtual friend. Why? Because we've gone down a similar path and we've been deceived. I think him and I both know that that's unlikely at this point. The Bible is looking real good, as I would say. Now, if what I teach is incorrect, then I need instruction. I don't want to teach false things. So I would be evil because I'm propagating lies. And so,
Yeah, absolutely.
that's with him and I, just so LOP knows our dynamic. Okay. We're not gonna like harm each other. And it's not like that. Okay. It's just YouTube back and forth. Okay. A man sharpens man kind of thing. Okay. So, but these are serious topics. This is not just like, oh, like what type of ice cream do you like kind of thing. So, when other people come by here and then they start getting nasty and stuff like that, their spirit's not right. Right away we dismiss them. But I just put that out there just because it's kind of strange, the way we interact, because we agree on like a significant amount, but then we also disagree on certain things. But we can be at peace, unless T-Mog's in a bad mood, like if he didn't have a good round of golf or he didn't get his coffee or whatever, something like that. But for the most part, so but
Right. And another saying, you have a saying out there that goes, keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. Right. So I think that's a good statement, right? Hey, look, even though we don't see eye to eye, I mean, hey, we can have a great discussion, because we see a lot. And as I said, it could certainly be true that ETT might be false. That is certainly true. And if I was to say that's not a possibility, if I was to say that's not a possibility, well, then I would clearly be going off. But I'm
yeah,
humble enough to say, you know what? It's possible that I might be wrong. I mean, hell, could it be true that the two witnesses might actually come down here any day now? Hell, that
yeah,
could be true.
right.
But we're gonna find out.
Yeah, and you wouldn't
Hey, we're gonna
chastise
see.
them. You wouldn't chastise them. You would go and talk to them like a normal person, right? And fine, I would too if I'm here. Like I can't prove that that's going to happen either. But I got to tell you a funny story, man. Quick story. So one of my pretty much the only guy that I hang out with saw our hangout, And then he asked me like, "Hey, what do you think of that guy?" Because like I think this was our just one of our hangouts recently, and I was like, he knows too much for his own good. That's what I was like saying in my mind. I was like, he's somebody that like knows too more than he needs to, kind of thing. But you know, I would say, in fairness to you, you are probably the only person that even understands the things that I'm sharing. You know, I think a lot of people are picking up on it now, but you know, because you're deeper into the Bible, so that's why when I tell you something or you tell me something, we can figure it out and understand, even if it's different.
Oh,
A lot of people
the
don't
guy
know that.
was the guy was asking about me about the stuff I know or something like that.
Yeah, he was just asking like, what do you think? What do you think of him? Because like, you know, he saw that we have like, you know, we have our disagreements, and I view you as somebody who is good at golf. Like, just use a golf example, but you don't like playing with them. Like, but you're good at it. So like, I like want to learn. You know, that's the way I would view it in my life. That's not to be rude, but that's sort of the way I view it. It's like we have a strong disagreement on important topics, but you're aware of things, you know, so we can bounce
Right,
ideas
right.
back and forth. That's the way I would word it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And another way you got to look at it, just like for an example, I do videos with our brother on there, Dasan, right? I'm sure you've seen that. I'm trying to bring him on a show with us, but he has some time problems finding a right internet connection. Hey, every man has his own trial. But anyway, I talk with him, and that brother is very sincere, right? He's new to this thing, but hey, look, at the end of the day, you know, hey, look, at the end of the day, I can't grant you salvation. You can't grant me salvation.
Right.
Scriptures say, let every man work out his own salvation, right? So that's what we're doing. We can all talk with one another, to build each other up, even though we all might have our differences, but hey, look, at the end of the day, it's every man for himself in this thing, right? We all can be there to talk with one another, but at the end of the day, no man can grant you salvation other than you fighting for it, right? You got to fight for your own salvation in this thing, right? Let every man work out his own salvation, right? And that goes for every one of us. That goes for ETT, Mind of God, Fresh and New in the chat, right? It goes for all of us. So this is really about working on ourselves at the end of the day. But one way to do that is by talking with other people who share, similar views. And, you can learn, from them. And as, Gorilla would say, sharpen your sword up, right? That's what they do when they have these debates. Let me see real quick. Oh, we have our friend Fresh and New in the chat. He said, I used to argue with people who don't believe the earth was flat, but it's great comfort to know that God is purposely deceiving them. Mind of God, you want to say anything to that?
Can I just give a verse to what you just said, which is great, man? And I
Go ahead.
think that's perfect to say that, because we're all trying to learn, okay? And then it's our ultimate responsibility to take care of our body and our spirit. Philippians 2:12, 2 times 12 is 24, 44. This is God's elect. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. So we're just here to help. That's what it is. We're here to, quote, help each other in this virtual platform, me and ETT, and then everybody else that comes by. We're not going to try and manipulate you, take money from you, or none of that. So what did Fresh and New say? I used to
Here, I
argue with
put it up
people.
on the screen.
Right. I'll read it. I used to argue with people who didn't believe the earth was flat, but it's great comfort to know that. Yes, exactly. So Fresh and New always leaves good comments on my channel too. And that's the same realization that I've come to over the years, because we've all been in those hangouts and arguing, and like dude, there were times where I like sweating after those hangouts. Like I literally had to go for a walk because that's how like upset I was. Now it's just like, hey, let the chips fall where they may, and then we just have to wait. It's amazing. So I agree with that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. Like say for an example, when you read, the scriptures, the only way to actually learn it for yourself is you got to sit down and read. I mean, hell, you can definitely watch a couple hundred videos and learn a lot by doing that. But in order to remember the precepts for when you do your own lessons or teach, well, the only way to do that is by studying it for yourself, right? You got to put in the work in order to, to better yourself, right? Or and even dealing with business, right? In order to, you know, do a good business, for lack of better words, you got to put in the time to build that business up, right? So that's a spiritual thing. Hey, look, we got to
Yep.
put in the work in this thing of ours, as Apostle Gabar would call it, um, you know, in order to get anything out of it, right? You have to put in the work. And just like even dealing with working out, right? Going to the gym, you got to constantly, do that. You do it a couple of days, you take a day off, and you continue to do it and eating the right foods, and it builds your muscle up and you can get
Exactly.
stronger, right? So that's the same thing with this thing of ours, right? That's the same thing with this thing of ours. Let me see. Yeah, we'll go for a couple more minutes, man. And anything else you wanted to say? And I believe you're gonna go live. You said on the 28th, right?
Yeah, I was going to offer you an opportunity again, no pressure, but if you just want to have a try, if your hours, I don't want to ruin all your hours, but if you want one in between that, I would be curious to pick your brain about Revelation 16 because we didn't get to talk about the angels and like how we don't know how that's going to play out, but it's not far away. So if you want to have a casual discussion on that, I'd be interested in that in between now and
Oh, and
then. Yep.
by the way, if you didn't know this, but when your hours are about to run out, you can actually do a stream and go as long as you want. But the
I saw
catch
that.
is that when the stream is done, you can't use it again until your time refreshes. But if you wanted to, they will let you go for 4 hours, 10 hours. They'll let you do it as long as you want on your last stream.
Yeah.
You just can't go live after it, right? So, yeah. So we'll bring up, some stuff, during that stream to make it, a good one.
Yeah,
But
just
yeah,
ping me.
I am
Ping me.
gonna.
I won't make the banner yet until you let me know. But if you're open to that, just for my own curiosity, I'd be interested because we can just focus on that chapter and maybe it'll be interesting to people because I don't know. We can start. It's like speculation, but it'll be interesting to brainstorm. But I throw that out there if you want to do that.
I have the one way that I make my lessons is I get a notebook and I write down certain verses I want for when I sit down. I can go through all of it and put a lesson together.
Yeah.
You might do that as well, but the reason why I bring that up is I have one there for Revelation, the 16th chapter. And I'm gonna do it very soon. I just need to find some
Ooh.
time where I can go down to the park or wherever and set up my stuff and I can record it. But yeah, I have some there, bringing up some other precepts that go along with it. So yeah, I'm gonna do that soon. I just have to find a day where I'm able to, to go down and do that.
Another good one that we would do is we go through the 22 chapters, each one just like we don't have to read the whole thing, but just me and you quickly say, did it happen in the past, present, or future? And then we just give a couple arguments and then we do each chapter really quick. That would be a fun conversation because a lot of people think 9 is like in the future. Some believe it's in the past. Some, people think 6 is coming, and I believe it's in the past. Just something to think about if you have ever done that, because it's like all we know. You and I both agree Revelation is not in order, like sequential order. So we could even do that if you want as well, because I get a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, that sounds fun, man. We can definitely do that one day in the future. But one thing I do want to do, and I actually had More Than the Flame reach out to me earlier, right? And he's gonna come on the show with us soon. But that brother's on there saying that, oh well, well, Christ already returned, we're living in the
Ooh.
time after Christ first ruled. And one of his proofs that this all happened was, well, you can't drink the seawater. So that proves that that prophecy was fulfilled about the waters being made bitter, where you can't drink them. That's going to be a great discussion, man. I even though he's clearly wrong, but that's going to be a very good discussion to have. I can't wait for that.
Dude, I got a question for you, man. I don't want to add time. We can talk this next time, but just to think about, let's say you and I were told officially that Christ is not going to return, and we're not even told whether the Bible is true or not, but it's just not going to happen. Like, what would you do? Like, would you be like sad or whatever? Or would you just like, I don't know, like, how would you change things? Like, to me, I was like,
Um,
I think about that a lot because like that'd be hopeless to not have
right,
that.
right. I mean, hey, man, if that's the case, well, hey, look, hey, well, all we can do is go every man for himself. Then, just try to live,
Right.
your best life. And even Dahar said, because somebody asked Dahar, well, what if we are wrong? And Dahar said, hell, we could be wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe the Most High doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Maybe the scriptures are, a satanic false, book that was made to deceive us all. Maybe that is true. And to be
Yeah.
honest, maybe that is true.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's where faith comes in, right? Because the word faith just means what? A belief in something that cannot be seen, right? So we believe in it, but can I physically prove it? No. Now, of course, there's certain archaeological proofs, such as, found Noah's Ark, they found Mount Sinai, just name a couple,
Yeah.
that show us the authenticity of the text, right? So you can show people that and say, well, see, here's proof. And a lot of guys won't accept that, of course, but
Yeah.
yeah, man, at the end of the day, hey, look, this is the only hope that we really have. especially our people, right, so-called blacks, this is really the only hope that we have because, there's no other way out of the hell that we are living in right now other than for
Exactly.
Yahushua to return and to take this place down, which is what we're looking for, right? The horse said, "What? Hey, look, we're looking for this man to come down and for us to come up, right? That's what we're waiting for right now." I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that that's something that I think about just in general, because Christ can return, and then we don't know, we could get in a car accident tomorrow, something could happen, and so it's not like just because it doesn't happen and we don't see it that it's never going to happen. But I do think about that just in general, like if you lived in a time period like this and you didn't have hope that God would intervene, that would just be a hopeless place. And I don't understand how other people, let's say preterists and all that, like what motivates them, because the likelihood of us teaming together and overthrowing this system is impossible. We just can't. The system, the Bible even says, who can make war with this beast? Like it's rhetorical. Like you cannot. And we see that, how powerful it is. So it's like, what hope do we have, kind of thing? It's crazy.
Right. And I wanted to in the future I want to do a show about, living with less and, the minimalism because, I was reading a verse in the scriptures and it says what a man's life does not consist of the things which he possesses. Because, hey, look, I don't know if you saw my video about, that we came into the world with nothing, we'll go out with nothing. That was a good one. So check that out.
Yeah, I saw it.
But you got to really think about that because, hey, look, at the end of the day, you know, we're all gonna die one day. We're all, as they say in the world, right? We're all gonna, pass away one day. Just like I showed, what is that? I believe it was Luke the 12th chapter, right? With the man who built a barn to possess his houses, his possessions. And the Lord told him, "What? Thou fool, tonight your soul will be taken from you."
Yeah.
Right. So I wanted to bring up real quick, somebody who I went to school with, and got into a somewhat relationship with him for a while. Which we're still friends to this day, but when I was with them, one of their friends that they knew since, preschool, she was like 19 years old and she ended up, dying a terrible death in a car accident. So that just shows you, and this happened recently, right? So this shows you that, hey, look, you don't know what day could be your last, and that goes for any of us,
Hmm.
I mean, hell, we don't know if we're going to be alive tomorrow, but we don't know what's going to happen. That's up for the Most High, to decide, but, we just got to, you know, be grateful for what we got. That's just the way you have to, look at things at the end of the day. I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. It's like who would have thought, like, we all probably had ambitions to, like, have a family and like the white picket fence, and like all that. And then here in Babylon, and it's like how quickly things have changed. You come across flat earth, boom, come across all these other things, then you start realizing, oh, who the Jews are. Then you start thinking about Mark of the Beast. It's like boom, boom, boom. I'm talking like a few months. These truths are, as you would say, popping like popcorn. It's like it's just all of our plans are just changed, And I'm like, I'm not complaining because it's a good place to be, but it's obviously scary for a lot of people too. But a lot of us are we have no other option at this point but to seek the God of Israel, like the Bible says. It's a good thing to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, absolutely. Because I'll tell you, I came into this thing young, right? So yeah, I definitely had, plans for my life and what I wanted to do. But you know what? Hey, look, we put all that on the back burner. We're not trying to lift ourselves up in this society. We're saying to the people, what? We're looking for this place to come down and for us to come up. We're looking for Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Christ, to come up, right? And to take this place down, right? So we're not trying to build ourselves up here in this
Exactly.
society,
Yeah.
right? So, that's just the way you got to look at it. Let's see, we got Creation Bear here. He said, "I've got my spiritual popcorn."
Shout out Creation Bear, man. Creation Bear was like he had my back when the Coon was trying to come at me, man. So I appreciate that. I got a good verse for you, ETT, to end off, man. If you
Go
gotta
ahead.
if you gotta go, Second Chronicles 15:13. That whosoever would not seek the Lord God of Israel shall be put to death, whether small or great, whether man or woman. So that
Oh,
is
and you
true
can
all
bring
the
that up
time.
and ask a Christian pastor about that because they said that oh well, you don't have to believe in the Lord, right? We can, God still loves all those people who don't believe in them. So well, what about this? What about atheists? Here says anybody who would not seek the Lord, the God of Israel, they should be put to death. And it's funny because Christians come after these Muslims and say, well, your religion says that people who don't believe in your religion should be killed. It's like, well, wait a second. The Bible also says and the people who do
Yeah.
not seek after the God of Israel shall be put to death. And a lot of these Christians, they don't even know that verse even exists.
Yeah.
Or when
Exactly.
Christ said to bring my enemies before me and slay them before me, they don't know that part exists. You know what I'm saying? Because first of all, Christians don't even read the Bible. They just,
Exactly.
know to repeat
Exactly.
what they've been told. And we're gonna do that video about, cutting these Christians with the scriptures, right? That's gonna be a good show, man. Where we're gonna turn them into a spiritual punching bag on that show. Hopefully that.
But dude, this is a great place, man, for all those people who are into the Bible. You know, if you're pursuing it sincerely and all that, God will work out the details. This is exciting because it's literally like we've hit the jackpot. You know how people win the lottery and they're doing the lottery now for this narrative. We have the real lottery ticket because this decision's so easy. But we really have no choice. What other god are we going to go worship? Islam's a joke. Okay, it's basically a subset of the Catholic Church. And what are we going to do? Become a Buddhist? Sit in like a cave or whatever and start praying to who? Hinduism's a joke. It's stupid. I mean, what are we going to do, right? It's like I'm saying this in an encouraging way. Isaiah 45:5, I am the Lord and there is none else. There is no God beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me. So the God of the Bible is making an exclusive claim of worship. So he's basically saying you either worship this or nothing. So things are looking pretty good. You know, I think I hear somebody sometimes on my channel say, "May the tides tip in our favor." That's the way I'm feeling right now, man. It's amazing. We'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah, man. As we said, hey, look, we've been telling people, this for years, that hey, look, there's going to come a time, in America where things are going to be, crazy, basically like a second depression. We've been telling people this for years. I mean, hell, the apostles been saying this since the 80s. And guess what? Now we're seeing these things happen, which we've been telling the people for years that there was hard times coming. Nobody believed us. But hey, look, now you can clearly see it. So
100%. 100%.
hey, so what we got to do is, just continue in this thing of ours, because we're clearly at the end of this thing. But anyway, I'm gonna, end the show off with this tonight. I thank you for coming on with me, and yeah, I'll definitely join you on the 28th on your channel. What
Yeah.
was the topic you wanted to discuss, just so I know before?
Well, the 28th one, I'm going to really focus on Christ's second coming. So I have a website that has all the verses about Christ's second coming, and just to encourage people, to look for it, and be excited about it. So that's the topic for the 28th.
All right, that sounds cool, man. And we're gonna have a on my page, I'm gonna have a good show on the 30th. Right, we're gonna have my 5 year, may I say, anniversary, right, for being on here teaching that long. I can't even believe it's been that long. I remember making my first video. But yeah, that's gonna be a good show. We're basically just gonna, come on. I'll give my little story with it. You can, share your testimony of this truth. And if any other brother wants to come on and do that, that's basically what we'll do on that day. We'll make it a good show.
Dude, I might even buy a Zinger's cake treat and eat it while it's happening. I'm not even kidding. I'm gonna find one. So yeah, dude, that's cool. Thanks again for having me, man. Peace out.
Yeah, yeah, cool, man. That's so cool. Let me see real quick. I didn't expect to go too long tonight. Because I wanted to record a couple of videos before I go back inside of here. But yeah, I was planning on tonight doing a stream about, the God of Christianity versus the God of the Bible. And we would, basically, have a discussion on that, but I had to push it off to I think tomorrow, all right, which I have to watch my time because I'm only given a certain amount of time for each month, right? So, I mean, hell, I'm only, 3 days in now, of getting my time back, right? So I got to be careful with my, time, if that makes sense. But, yeah, on the 28th, we're going to be live on Mind of God's channel. Anybody can stop by and join us on there. Um, but yeah, that's going to be tonight's show. I hope everyone enjoyed our little conversation. If anybody made it this far into the video, comment in the comment section down below. Let's see, put hashtag popcorn, right? Hashtag popcorn in the comment section down below. Um, so anyway, you know, um, hey, this is going to be the end of the show, right? So, of course, I want to end off by giving all praises to Yahweh and to his son Yahweh Shai for this truth. And in the words of the D Coon, have a good night.